All right, so the time has come in, so it's already 8 a.m. here in the Netherlands. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon to the rest of the world. Thank you for joining us. I see other people is still joining, which I'm happy with it. We have a good group. Thanks for your interest in the topic to follow this webinars. That HATO is always happy to share our knowledge with people from the sector. And this time we will talk about a way to reduce costs in livestock farms with good LED lighting. So we will take the topic a bit in general for different applications. It is a basic knowledge and in an easy way to bring you some numbers and break down or and certain aspects where you can focus and see where you can save some money. And things that you will wonder and see how lighting can help you to improve performances, well-being, and even bring better results in the farm, and for sure saving some costs. Today, Bart Marshall, my colleague from sales, is with me, so I'm happy to have some companion here. And I would like to introduce him, and he can tell you a little bit about his job and what wonders him in HATO. Thank you, Bart, for being here.
Thank you, Christabel, for the introduction. As Christabel mentioned, I am Bart Marshall. I'm a business development manager for HATO. In general, I'm responsible for the areas North Africa, Middle East, Asia, and also Oceania. So in this area, I'm basically the main contact for the most of you when you would reach out to HATO Lighting. So yeah, I travel the world and I try to help dealers, agents, farmers all around the globe as good as possible with the best lighting solutions.
Great. Yes, indeed. So please, if you have any comments, question, set it in the chat box. If you go to your control bar, for some appears above or underneath in your device, you will see there a Q&A box, and there you can set up your comments because your microphones are closed. So we will leave some space at the end of the presentation so we can come into a discussion and answer your questions. He will also be reading if he can answer already some information if you ask about commercial things or interest in certain product or topic, you can leave it there. And all questions we will leave it at the end to be able to answer it. So also in the you see a slide and comes something up, just write it so you don't forget it, and we will come back to you. So we will start. We have a nice group today. So good day for those that has just come in. I will start with a short introduction of HATO, and then we will go through the topic. So thanks for your attention. So just would like to show you our tagline, which is basically the essence of HATO, improving life through brightness. For those who already knows HATO, you have seen that we lead the market of LED lighting, specialized to be used in livestock farms here in Europe and Asia and in certain countries. And we keep on growing around the globe. And they keep knowing more about HATO because we have been in the market already for 47 years. And we keep on growing with looking for more applications, always from the point of improving life, not only for the animals, but also for the farmers. So there is that we keep coming with continuously innovations, always trying to fulfill the needs of the farmer and the animals. This to make your life easier, but also looking for sustainable solutions that can lead to a more responsible farm. Brightness is because, of course, we bring LED solutions, so lighting, but also because we like to share our knowledge that is not only coming from HATO, but what is our experience along these years. HATO is a 100% Dutch company based here in the Netherlands. So the know-how comes out from here and has been expanded and has other facilities in China, in Pakistan, and also opening more sites where we come to work together with partners around the world. So basically all the feedback from users, customers, our dealers, we come to hear all the needs and we take those into account, always complying with sustainable and responsible farming. So this is basically a short introduction of HATO. My name is Cristabel Huerta. So you read it here above with my contacts. If you have any further requests or more information about any other topic, feel free to contact me. We come continuously with webinars, sharing another popular topics of trending topics in the sector. And you will see it in our social media. So just keep following us and we will come with more information. I hope you enjoyed this webinar. So we will start. As we see, we have a nice number of persons connected already. I will start with this poll just to get to know a bit more about you. And let's launch it by now. Then you are able to answer it. Which kind of light source do you have in the farm? Is it the natural daylight? So you have an open house entrance of light. Yeah, we see that there are different kind of housing within poultry, cattle, or pigs. Which kind of light do you use? If you have already natural daylight, which kind of supplementary daylight do you use? Is it fluorescent, traditional LED, or specialized LED for livestock farms? Okay, so people is answering. I see here still a lot of people has a natural daylight and a fluorescent. But I see some also using a specialized LED light. Okay, I will enter poll by now and I can share the results. So you see still a majority here is using fluorescent. So this webinar will be very useful for you to understand why is LED lighting giving you more benefits against fluorescent light, for instance. Okay, so let me go to the presentation. Basically here we will go with the basic concept of what is light, and then the aspects of light and those aspects that helps you to reduce costs in your farm. What is light? Well, as definition, is the visible part of the electromagnetic spectrum, so the color vision. And as we see here, is the part within the ultraviolet rays and the infrared rays, the visible light, what we perceive as white light, so the sunlight. And the sunlight has all these colors that we can compare with the rainbow, and each color has a specific wavelength as what is measured in nanometers. And there are short wavelengths, you see more into the ultraviolets, blue and green, and longer wavelengths if you go to the yellow, orange, and red. So with that put it in place, we can define the color of light. And when we see a white light, when we hear about the CCT, the color temperature of the light, is what you define the tone of white. No? If it would be white light or warm white. So we can understand that if you have more presence of the blue and green in that spectrum of light, you will have a more cool white. And if you have more of the wavelengths in the red orange, then you have a more warmer white light. Okay, and this here below is the how you would measure the light spectrum of solar light. So you see it's a quite broad curve with all these colors from ultraviolet until the infrared. So basically the sunlight is the best light that we can have. But we have to assure that we have enough of it in our farm and that we are really improving the sight of animals so that they can feel better, see better, and perform better. So we have to understand the way that animals perceive lighting, because that perception differs per species, and that is just a biological process. So we see here that a human perception, we have here a big curve where we see better blue, green, and yellow. Just imagine yourself being in a room with a lamp only in red. It looks like darker for us. But we can perceive it in red. We see the red color, but it looks like darker. If you are in a room where you are in a only yellow lamp, then you see better. So you can just imagine yourself the way that animals perceive those colors, where you can improve when you can provide with a supplementary light the spectrum in the way that animals can see better their surroundings. And in that way, they can perform better. They can find better the feeder, the drinkers, recognize within each other, have a better socialization. So we have seen that lighting really improves an animal behavior, influences in their biological process, and you can have a better or desired behavior in your farm. So you see here the poultry perception is quite broader, because poultry, as we know, they are very sensitive. So sight is the highest sense that poultry has. So basically there you really need to have a good supplementary lighting. Pig perception is more into the blue and green, as well as cattle, but differs in the way that they perceive this light spectrum. So we will continue how come that LED gives you a better or more benefits in lighting compared with fluorescence. So here we see talking about the light spectrum, that if you provide a broad light spectrum, you can improve sight of the animals. You see here the incandescent is quite a broad light spectrum, and it has a lot of the red in it, but less of the blue and green. And if you see the fluorescent, it's just a few peaks above, but it's not a broad spectrum, something more similar in the way that animals perceived the light spectrum. And compared with LED, this comes really wider and something more similar the way that they perceive that light spectrum, meaning that we are improving here sight of the animals. So that comes into a more desired behavior. They will feel more comfortable, more at ease. They can even feel cozy. And then you will see a change in an optimal way by reducing stress. You will reduce unwanted behavior, and then they will perform better. There are several other aspects that we will also review in here, but it is very important that why LED is nowadays a technology to use in livestock farms, because they are more dynamic. So besides the light spectrum, because you can have the same lamp and the same color, let's see, here is a more warm white. Let's talk about 3000 Kelvin degrees. But you see the spectrum is totally different. So here, the perception of the animal is not that good. And the advance of going to fluorescent from incandescent, where we were having a wider spectrum, was mainly to save some energy cost, because we know fluorescent was already having less energy consumption than incandescent, and that the lifetime was longer. But the LEDs definitely goes furthermore, because they have a higher energy efficacy than fluorescent. And with the miniaturization of the LEDs, that allows you also to create more or different designs that gives you a better light distribution, and that applies better in different kind of application and type of housing. So LEDs are more dynamic. You have a better quality and a better light spectrum, and that the colors comes better out from this kind of technology, that the light goes more similar to daylight. And that is what we want to try to have in the barn, okay, or in the house. So go to the next slide, and there is another poll. I will launch it by now. Aspects of lighting, okay. Now you should be able to answer. Which aspects do you consider important in a lighting installation? Is it price, energy savings, durability, easy installation, light intensity, or light distribution. Right, some people, yeah, price is a very important aspect, of course. Energy savings. Nowadays, with the exorbitant prices of energy, this is very important. All right, so majority has answered. I will end the poll by now, and we can share the results. Okay, so you see here, the price is indeed the most driven aspects of to consider when having a lighting installation. Then you go on to energy savings and durability, and good that you have also pointed out light distribution. This is definitely a property of lighting, really an aspect that will influence animal behavior. Okay, so let's talk about it. And I will show each of this, how it influences in the results of the farm. So the first of four is really more about the lighting system of the kind of lights you have, this supplementary lighting that you want to have in the farm. And the other two, light intensity and light distribution, is like the light spectrum that we have discussed, the properties of lighting, really the key aspects of lighting that will influence in animal behavior and performances. And this together, if you look to have the right aspect and the right, let's say, a factor to save your money and improve animal performance, then you would create an optimal light climate, and you will see really better farm results. Okay, so number one, lower energy costs. So with good LED lighting, being extremely energy efficient compared with other sources of lights, and we will do a comparison here with fluorescent, you will really see that the energy consumption goes lower, and of course that will be an effect in your bill energy. Yeah? So you will pay less of that energy consumption because the amount of light will be higher. So that is what energy efficacy means. You get less energy out of the web of the energy, and then if you have as well the right design of lamp, giving the having the best out of the light output according to the application, then you will increase as well the lumen, so the light intensity that you need to have in the farm. Then you will see the benefits of having a good lighting solution. So LEDs uses much less energy, wattage, power than any other light source. That is also important to compare within the same LEDs. If you use traditional LED, compare with a specialized LED, that is here to see the quality of the LED, the design, where you will position the lights to really optimize light intensity and light distribution. And there you will see as well some savings. Here, how to compare that energy efficacy between LED and fluorescent lighting. Here we are comparing two products from our portfolio, which is the Corax. Some of you have known perhaps of seen that lamp that we use in the poultry houses. And previously it was used the ED, the fluorescent, which is out of our portfolio. And there we see here the power that each lamp we're using. So the 8.7 is for the Corax currently, 36 watts was for the ED. And you see the light output lumen is 1050 for the Corax and 3000 for the ED. There's a big difference about power consumption and lumen that you get. So you see, yeah, that looks much better with the fluorescent than with the ED, with the LED. And when you see about efficacy, what is by using less power consumption and getting more lumen, at the end, the Corax is giving you a higher efficacy of 121 compared with 83 lumen per watt with the ED. So you have a 46% higher. This would be reflected in your bill. So you will have less power consumption and less to pay. How you can do that comparison, having a energy consumption per year, so that you multiply the power consumption, so the watts, by the number of lamps, by the number of hours that your lights are on, by the number of days that you have those lights on the whole year. And then divide it by 1,000, and then you get the energy cost per year. So we see here the coax, or the LED, with a kilowatt hour of 4,176, compared with the ED fluorescent, and we have the double, over the 8,000. And if you put there the price of cost, energy cost of your country, here is exclusive taxes. We have by now 0.59. I must tell you that if you go to our website, we have this study made a few years ago. We are working on the website, and it will come something new. But I have updated this data because there it was mentioned 0.17. But I say energy costs have been quite high here in the Netherlands and also in other countries. And from 700 that it used to be, that energy bill is now 2,000, almost 2,500. And if you compare with ED, yeah, it's the double. So before it was just a comparison between 700 euros and 1,300 euros. Well, now it's about 2,500, and you keep doubling your money if you keep using fluorescent light. So this is how you will see the difference of having a higher efficacy energy in your LEDs compared with ED, with fluorescent lights, or with other kind of light sources. If you have daylight, and if you are looking for supplementary light, really the technology to go is LED. And here you will see how you can save some more money. Now, the second aspect is to lower replacement costs. That's definitely up to the lifetime of your lights. With LED, besides this higher efficacy in energy, it comes a longer lifetime. With incandescent, we were talking about 1,000 to 3,000 hours. Those lights were broken easily, and then you have to replace them constantly. Fluorescent already save some energy, but they are not so efficient as the LEDs. And the lifetime is about 5,000 to 15,000 for those that are of good quality. With LEDs, we are talking about 50,000 around in average, and there are other sources that goes even higher. So LEDs is, yeah, triples, and even from 3 to 25 times gives you more lifetime than any other light source. So we will have here a table where you can compare again the coax with the ED, so LED and fluorescent. We have in lifetime for the coax 50,000, that is about 6 years, while the fluorescent is about 15,000, and it's about 2 years. So sorry, here was a replacement in 6 years. You don't need to replace the coax in those 6 years, while the ED, you need to replace twice. Downtime, well, twice, because you need to change all your lights in this 6 years, 2 times. And purchases, well, you buy just one time the coax system that will last 6 years, that in average, but it can go up to 8 years, where even our warranty also goes that long, because we warranty a longer lifetime, because it's a very robust system. LED is of a high quality, and that we look into all aspects of lighting in the way that we can improve animal well-being and performances. So these two combined gives you really a good, an optimal light climate, and you see the difference on reducing cost, not only in energy consumption, but also on purchasing cost. downtime, labor cost, of course, and replacement costs. Here we see number 3, lower labor costs, because at the end you will have fewer broken lights we'll need to replace with good LED quality. So this is what all your savings comes up to, not only thinking about energy costs, but also about the performances in your farm by purchasing cost, lower labor input, lowering the downtime. That is also affecting animals when you don't have the proper light because few lights are broken and you are not replacing them immediately. Then the light climate is not optimal, and you could also lower your performances in the farm. So this comes on the number 4, which is lower underperformance cost. And that it has to be more with the behavior of the animal. And that is about the aspects of lighting. So to create this optimal light climate. And that is by fulfilling the needs of the animal in the way that the light influences in a desired behavior inside a farm. And it is about the way that we can reduce stress to increase their well-being, their comfort, that they feel more at ease, that they can give a better socialization, and that consumption of feed intake of food that brings them calories is not wasted because of stress. If there are other factors that are stressing the animals, those calories can be lost instead of having it used for a proper growth or in a desired behavior, to a good activity, and that you will see it as well in productivity. So lighting is just a part of the equipment that is essential to have in the farm, because light is something that you need always. Is what stays in the photo period and in the day-night cycle. And of course, what will influence the biological process, because you need light which establishes the hours of light and the nights, the time to rest. And that is needed to have a good stimulation of the natural behavior of the animal, but also that helps you to achieve your productivity, to stimulate a feed intake, water intake. You'll see that you have the right light at the right area of the house. And all this is what will increase your performances in the farm, and then save costs like a higher consumption of food, and not having better performances. Then in that way, you can optimize feed intake and get a better FCR. So you'll see in a different application the way that light influence on animal behavior. Of course, poultry is more sensitive. That is what you can see shorter and closest the results of the farm if you compare that with big farms of cattle. But still, there are studies that says that lighting definitely is a factor that influences animal behavior. So you will see in different phases and stages that lighting can do a lot for your animals, just by improving their well-being and collaborate with other equipment of the farm to create the optimal climate in the house. This is another aspect which is very important about lighting, which is to having the good light distribution, as you mentioned also in the poll. It goes with hand with the right intensity, having in the right area of the house. That can stimulate a feed intake, reduce stress by startling costs with brighter spots or shadows. That is a typical scene in the farms, that the light distribution is not even along the house, as well, not well directed to the feeders or drinkers, or in the pens for the pigs. So you see that if you can decrease this stress, they will perform better. Can also help to stimulate fertility and productivity. Now, benefits of good LED lighting is that we can really comply with the aspects of lighting, as said, more into the properties of lighting to have a more daylight simulation, a broader light spectrum, as we have seen in the graphics, to adjust to the right light color, the way that each animal perceives that light spectrum to improve their sight. Color rendering index is the way that the colors comes more clear if you compare that with daylight. So the LED, if it's of a good quality, gives you a better color rendering index. And the smooth 100 to 0% dimmability. Right? So if you are able to dim the lights, this also gives you a more steady and good dimmability, and some of them are also flicker free. If you have heard about this aspect, which creates a lot of stress in poultry especially, but also in other animals, when you come to perceive or feel this flicker in the or fluctuation in the light intensity is very annoying and creating a stress in the animals. So it is the way that LED performs better than fluorescent lights. So here's another poll, just the last one. I will launch right now. Okay, now you should be able to answer. How can you get a proper light climate? Is it by recommendation, by measuring and analyzing light factors, by own experience, or by requesting a custom-made light plan? Okay, all is answering. Yes. The majority has answered. I will end the poll right now, and I can share results. Well, majority has answered by measuring, analyzing light factors, certainly, but this was a little bit tricky. So it's a bit of all of them. So I should put here all of the above, but I would have given the answer. Because yes, by measuring, analyzing light factors is what you need to know what is your current situation and the areas of improvement. So where you realize that you are not really having the broad light spectrum that your animals need, or the light intensity is not enough because it's not coming to the ground or to the eye level of the animal, or it is not really influenced by having the right light intensity that stimulates the animals for productivity, as you know, depending on the different phase of the animal and the type of housing. So with that, you can see it. So, but then you need to know what to do, how to create this optimal light climate. One is by recommendation, but you have to see on your own farm, because each farm is different of the other and needs to get into account the characteristics of your farm. And with that, and by the experience, your own experience as producer, and also the experience of the provider, the supplier as expertise on the area, can help you to bring you the optimal light climate. And this is indeed by requesting a custom-made light plan, because we will consider all the characteristics of your farm, type of application, the needs or the challenges that you are having at the moment, and see the way the light can help you to create this optimal light climate. Okay, so I will now go to the next one. Well, basically we have ended the presentation. I have here some research data to share with you. We have come into the time of the webinar, but I will leave it here just to show the numbers and come back to this. If you are interested, you can stay here until the end, and then we can have a discussion and hear or read your questions about it. I will now give the microphone to Bart, so he can give you let's say the summary of what we have explained here, and tell you a bit more about the benefits of using good LED lighting, this compared with other light sources. So we have here independent studies for pigs and cattle, poultry, and well, what good LED lighting is. Please, Bart, thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Christabel. Yeah, a good lighting solution. I think when you see the top right is already a very important one. A lot of the systems that we have are IP67. So this means that usually most of the lights can be high pressure cleaned without any issues. Also, it's no issue when you use any chemicals on it. I think especially when you look at the bit efficacy, which is of course very important, immediately it becomes also very important to look at the light distribution of the design itself. This is especially something that I experienced a lot lately, is that some of the lights that I come across in the market, let's say if you use a regular E27 bulb, for instance, a E27 bulb, even when it's LED, sometimes is not so efficient. And the reason for this is because actually the light of a LED bulb, the distribution is not so great. So what happens, the light that the light produces, it actually goes towards the sidewalls and towards the ceiling. At HATO, we don't only pay attention to the lumen watt ratio, but we also pay attention to the design of the light. So this makes sure that if you have a HATO lighting system with 8.7 watts, for instance, that those 8.7 watts of light also will be pointed directly to the floor where you want to have it, because all the light that goes to the ceiling and the sidewalls usually is wasted energy. So in terms of the lumen watt ratio, also interesting to look at the design of the light. And also from HATO side, we're happy to supply with data sheets where you can also see exactly where the light is going towards. So this is another one to pay attention to. Another one is that a lot of the HATO lighting solutions use 48 volts DC. This makes that the lighting systems are very safe. As you can see in the top left, there's also maximum fire protection. So the 48 volts DC helps with that. The reason is that in the best scenario, you can even install the HATO power packs. You can install them in the service area. And this actually means that you only have to go with low voltage cables into the poultry house. So there's a very low fire hazards. Other than that, the 48 volts DC also makes that it's very safe to replace a light if it would ever come to that point, because as Christabel mentioned, the lights will last 8, maybe even up to 10 years. But if it happens, it's very safe and easy to replace a light yourself. So in a lot of countries, you're not really obligated to get an electrician to change a bulb because it's very safe. And what also is very important is that 48 volts DC helps the light to be dimmable from 0 to 100%. So a lot of other lighting solutions, even other LED solutions that work on the AC current, you can maybe dim them to maximum 2%, something like this. And especially in the low ranges of the dimming, you see often that the light will flicker a lot more. And of course, with a direct current, with 48 volts DC, you don't have this problem. And you can easily dim 0 to 100% completely flicker free. And this also makes that when you turn the lights on in the morning, the birds will not startle and don't become stressed immediately already early in the morning. So these are some of the important factors. And as Christabel mentioned, of course, first of all, on the side of electricity, replacement, stuff like that, you can already earn a lot of money. But especially also on the side of production, you can earn a lot of extra money with a good lighting system. This can be, for instance, because the birds are less stressed with an improved FCR. It can also be if you have a breeder house, for instance, that you will have less floor eggs. You will have a higher hatchability, as Christabel also just showed in some of the percentages that one of our customers has shared. So all of this will eventually contribute to better performance, better production, and of course, to make the farm more profitable. And also, I think for installers that use the HATO lighting systems, it's easy installation, it's safe, so nothing but benefits, basically. I see that in the Q&A, we also received a question. Christabel, shall we already answer this, or you want to take that on
Yes.
a bit later?
No, you
Okay.
can read a question, please.
The question is, did I understand correctly that HATO light only use DC, and when one has only AC, this must be converted? That's a good question. This is not entirely true. This means we have a few different lighting solutions. A few of the main products that we have indeed work on 48 volts DC, which means that indeed you need a power supply to convert the AC into DC current. But we also have a few AC current lights. The AC current lights that we produce are also flicker free. So we used a special technology to take the flickering out of the AC current. If you want to mention then a downside, the downside of this is that, as I mentioned, with an AC current light that you make completely flicker free, you can only dim to a maximum of 2 or minimum, I have to say, of 2%. So you can dim between 2 and 100%, and with DC you would be able to dim 0 to 100%. I hope this answers the question.
Yes, exactly. And where basically we have the DC solutions is in poultry houses, because there, as said, poultry is much more sensitive to light than with other species. Basically what is in cattle, dairy cattle and pig farms, we have AC solutions. But here again, we consider the maximum fire protection, so the materials are well resistant. The technology we have the same, the way that we can avoid a flicker. We have a solution that is also dimmable, and other in pigs that it is not. So depending on the region, what they are needing, what they are used to, but it's just to start improving lighting at the light climate in your house. So we have a different range of solutions that adapts to your own needs. It's just about that you come to us and ask what you need, what you are looking for, what are the challenges that you are confronting, and then we can come up with a right solution that adapts to the needs of the farm. Okay. If there is another question or comment, leave it in the chats.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And maybe addressing a little bit the sheet that we're seeing now, maybe some good information. We also spoke with the farmers that did this testimonial in Pakistan, which is really good information. I think the higher hatchability of 2%. And the peak production increase. What we actually heard from this customer is that the hatchability eventually he was even they used the Ross birds from Aviagen, and what they mentioned was that the standard is about 88%, as was communicated by Aviagen. And eventually with the HATO lighting system, they were even able to increase this up to 91 and 92%. So I think this is also some good information on how important the lighting system is.
Exactly. Even the persistency also increased from 10 to 15 weeks. And it's very something to take into account. So you see the 60% savings in energy cost. There was a house that they were having fluorescent lights, and they did the switch to LED lighting. There was the only factor of change when doing this improvement. And then they see the return of investment in less than 18 months. They have a better light distribution. They were really well installed, the lights where the light intensity should go correctly. And they decreased the 25% of floor eggs. Also, the 4% increase in greater uniformity in birds. That is something that you come to see time to time again with different applications, that you get more uniform performances. When you get a better light distribution with this more uniform and the correct light intensity at the right place, then you come to get better results. So if you have any further question or interest, please leave it in the chat. You would also get a survey afterwards where you can leave your comments. Those are very important for us to keep improving, to keep bringing you the right information. And also, if you would like to have a follow-up, let your contacts in that survey, and we will come back to you. So thank you a lot for your interest and attendance on this webinar. Keep us on following because we come with other trending topics along the year. Also go to our website where we come to show more studies and information on the different applications. You can see our products, request data sheets to get more technical information about that specific lighting solution, or contact our sales team or myself if you would have any other question. So thanks a lot. Thank you, Bart, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, that was great. So I don't see any further comments so far. So I will end by now the webinar, and don't hesitate to contact us for any further information. All right. Thank you. Have a nice day. See you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.